Hello students, welcome to another lecture of electrochemistry. In the last class we have stopped at two different types of batteries. One were primary batteries and the other was secondary batteries. We have taken two examples in each category, and in primary batteries the two examples we have seen was dry cell and mercury cell, right? Coming to the other type of battery, which is secondary battery, we have seen lead acid storage battery and nickel cadmium battery, right? Now there is another type of electrochemical cell which is different from a regular electrochemical cell, right? In a regular electrochemical cell, what we will take is a metal electrode which is dipped in a solution of its own ions, right? So chemical reactions take place there also, and the cell which we are going to discuss now is a fuel cell, and even fuel cell is also one electrochemical cell only in which chemical reactions takes place. Chemical reaction, whenever I say, only oxidation and reduction only. There is no other chemical reaction apart from these two, whether you take electrochemical cell or you take fuel cell. In both the cells, chemical reactions are oxidation and reduction reactions only, but the difference between these two is, in a regular electrochemical cell, metal electrode is dipped in a solution of its own ion, right? Coming to fuel cell, you will not have metal here metal ion is the combination, right? Coming to a fuel cell, what you will need here is an electrode which is acting like a catalyst and catalytic electrode which is in contact with a fuel. Fuel can be any fuel which is gaseous in nature, like hydrogen or methanol, hydrogen gas or methanol. Till now we have two types of fuel cells. One fuel cell having hydrogen gas as a fuel, and the other fuel cell having methanol as a fuel, right? Before going for fuel cell, what we should know is a general combustion reaction, right? Combustion reaction means whenever any fuel is burnt completely in the presence of oxygen, whenever any fuel is burnt completely in the presence of oxygen, you will get its oxide and energy, right? Its oxide. If carbon is there in the fuel, you will get carbon dioxide, and you will get heat energy, right? That is the general reaction for combustion, right? There also the requirement is a fuel should be there and oxygen gas should be supplied, and when fuel is burned in the presence of oxygen, you will get its oxide. The same concept is applied in a fuel cell also. Instead of taking metal electrode in metal ion, what you will do is you will replace that electrode with a catalytic electrode. Catalytic electrode, what will it do? It is there in the reaction, but it will not participate in the reaction, right? That is the major difference in this. Here electrode will be involved, metal also will be involved, metal ion will also be involved, but here in this type of electrochemical cell, catalytic electrode will not involve in the reaction. It is there only to facilitate the reaction. Who is involved in the reaction is towards the electrode, whatever fuel you are passing, and you cannot use a fuel like petrol, diesel, charcoal, etc. for this cell. You will need a gaseous fuels which are simple like hydrogen gas or methanol, right? Such fuels are passed at catalytic electrode, and the electrode facilitates the reaction, and fuel reacts with oxygen and burnt to give same oxide. So instead of carbon, if you are using hydrogen gas as a fuel, what will be its oxide? Water. Oxide of hydrogen is water. and instead of heat energy what you will get is chemical energy, and that chemical energy after a chemical reaction will be converted into electrical energy. So, the same definition of conversion of chemical energy into electrical energy is applied even to the fuel cell also, but the difference here is, here the electrode and its ion both of them involves in the reaction. Here electrode will not involve. Whatever fuel you are passing from one side and oxygen you are passing from the other side, they both react and you will get oxide of that particular fuel. If you are giving hydrogen gas from one side, it combines with oxygen coming from the other side to give water. And if you are giving methanol from one side, methanol means CH3OH. Is there a carbon in this fuel? Yes. Whenever carbon is there in the fuel, you will get carbon dioxide. If carbon is not there, say hydrogen gas, you will get water as a product. And heat energy will not come out, instead chemical energy will come out. That chemical energy will be converted into electrical energy. So, now let us write a proper definition of fuel cell, which is, a fuel cell is an electrochemical cell in which fuel undergoes chemical reaction to convert chemical energy into electrical energy in the presence of oxygen, right. So, let me write this definition on board. An electrochemical cell, this is also an electrochemical cell only, an electrochemical cell in which fuels react with oxygen gas, and converts chemical energy into electrical energy. Same, chemical energy into electrical energy, right. Generally combustion reaction means you will get heat energy after combustion, but here that energy you will not find. I already told, only chemical and electrical energies will be applied in electrochemistry, no other energy you will find, right. So, this is a definition of a fuel cell. Now, let us look at the diagram and see its construction. Okay, please copy the definition and the difference between these two. So, now let us look at the construction of a fuel cell in which there will be two sides, right. From one side you will pass hydrogen gas and from the other side you will pass oxygen gas, and in the middle of the cell there will be two electrodes which are catalytic in nature. Both catalytic electrodes are named as anode and cathode only, but their nature is catalytic. They will not involve in the reaction, they will just facilitate the reaction, right. From whichever side you are passing hydrogen gas, that electrode is anode and the other electrode is cathode, and the other electrode is cathode. So, if hydrogen gas is passed from one side and oxygen gas is passed from the other side, the product which you will get will be water. The product which you get will be water, and from this side excess oxygen comes out, right. If oxygen becomes excess, it goes out or liberated, right. And between the two electrodes you will have electrolyte solution. As I told, even in this electrochemical cell also electrode will be there, electrolyte will be there. In electrochemical cell also you had electrode and electrolyte, right. Electrolyte will be there in both the cell, and this electrolyte is aqueous KOH or NaOH solution, right. This is electrolyte of NaOH or KOH, right. This is the construction of a simple fuel cell in which from one side of the cell you will pass hydrogen gas as a fuel, and that fuel cell is called as hydrogen oxygen fuel cell. Instead of hydrogen gas, if you pass other fuels like methanol, it is called as methanol oxygen fuel. Simply means that from one side you have to pass the fuel and its electrode is anode, therefore oxidation reaction takes place at the side of a fuel. From the other side of the fuel you have to pass oxygen gas, which is common for any fuel cell, and from whichever side you are passing oxygen gas, reduction reaction takes place from that side, right. In between both the electrodes you will have NaOH or KOH solution. Now let us look at its working, or the heading is cell reactions. Cell reaction, at first you have to write reaction at anode. Who is present at anode? Hydrogen gas. So what will hydrogen gas undergo? Hydrogen gas undergoes oxidation. 2 hydrogen gas has how many hydrogens total? 4. So all that 4 hydrogen loses one electron. Total how many electrons are lost? 4 electrons are lost, and you will get 4 H plus ions, right. From 2 moles of gas you will get 4 H plus ions. So that 4 H plus ions will take 4 OH minus ion from this. So I will also write 4 OH minus ions here. So together what will they become? They will become 4 molecules of water. So at the side of anode, after undergoing oxidation, hydrogen gas gets converted into H plus ions, which combines with OH minus ion to form water. 4 electrons are liberated, which you can see. Coming to the reaction at cathode, like any cathode, even here also oxygen gas undergoes reduction because it is at cathode side, right. So oxygen gas undergoes reduction by gaining these 4 electrons. And utilizing those 2 water molecules. 2 water molecules liberated will be used. 2 water molecules has 2 oxygens and 2 more oxygens are coming here. Together by accepting 4 electrons, it becomes 4 OH minus ions, right. Electrons are accepted, it becomes minus. How many electrons are accepted? 4. Therefore 2 oxygen here, total 4 OH minus ions are formed at cathode side by gaining electrons. So is there any oxidation at anode side? Yes, by liberating 4 electrons. Is there any reduction at cathode side? Yes, by accepting 4 electrons, right. So now let us write overall reaction. Overall reaction, to write overall reaction, first we should cancel the common terms. 4 OH gets cancelled, 4 electrons gets cancelled, 2 water molecules from here and 2 from here cancels, remaining 2 water molecules are left. Now let us write all the leftover things, you will get overall reaction. 2 hydrogen gas plus 1 oxygen give rise to 2 moles of water. This is the overall reaction of a fuel cell. Therefore, we can conclude that fuel cells using hydrogen gas as a fuel helps in providing water molecule. Is it? Fuel cells having hydrogen gas as a fuel helps in providing water molecule. Therefore, as this fuel cell also has a small size and it is able to give water molecules without damaging the environment. Is it damaging the environment? No. Therefore, it is eco-friendly, it is environmental friendly, it is small in size, easy to be carried and also gives water. Therefore, the same fuel cell is used by astronauts and it acts as a source of water to astronauts, right. apart from giving electrical energy, it also acts as a source of water for astronauts, right. So, this is the application of fuel cells. In today's research and experiments, they are trying to find out more such combinations of fuel and oxygen, so that more such environmental friendly electrochemical cells can be used in our daily life too, right. So, this is about the construction of fuel cell, its working and its cell reactions and applications also. Please copy down the diagram and reactions, so that we will move forward. Now, the next topic in the same electrochemistry is a little different from electrochemical cell only, and that is electrolysis. Till now, what we have seen was anode compartment was there, cathode compartment was there separately, right. Both of them was connected by a salt bridge, but anode electrode was dipped in its solution, cathode electrode was dipped in its solution, and there the conversion was chemical energy into electrical energy, right. But there is another type of a cell in which first you will give electrical energy, as I told in the very beginning, an example of a television set and desktop, right. You will give electrical energy which will be converted into chemical energy. After giving electrical energy only, chemical reaction takes place, and that chemical reaction gives chemical energy, right. So, therefore, electrolytic cell is a cell which is opposite to an electrochemical cell, and the conversion is also opposite, and its construction is in the same compartment you will have anode and cathode. In the same compartment you will have anode electrode and cathode electrode. In the electrochemical cell, whatever signs was there to anode and cathode, the opposite will be there here, right. So, let us name this as anode and cathode. Two electrodes are there in a single beaker, and two electrodes are dipped in a single electrolyte. Electrolyte can be any solution of salt or acid or base, any solution of salt, acid or base, but it should have ions in it. The moment you dissolve that, whether you dissolve salt like NaCl, or you dissolve acid like HCl, or you dissolve base like NaOH, any acid, base or salt which is strong in nature can act as an electrolyte. Suppose I am taking a solution of NaCl, a solution of NaCl is taken. Simple salt solid you cannot take, aqueous solution is taken which gives ions that can act as electrolyte. So, for this setup, electrolyte is common for anode and cathode. In the previous cell, anode had negative charge, but here anode will be positive charge. In the previous cell, cathode had positive charge, but here cathode will be negative charge. Anode was negative, so you took small line there. Now anode is positive, so you have to take large line, and cathode is negative, small line, right. So, now this is the setup, and the moment you start giving electrical energy, what happens is chemical reaction immediately starts. What happens is, soon after taking electrical energy, or once the electricity starts to pass from the solution, all the ions will be separated into cations, which are positively charged ions, and anions, which are negatively charged ions. In the solution, two types of ions exist, cations and anions. And all the cations present in the solution, cations can be same or different. You can have Na plus, K plus, Ag plus, so many together also, or only one cation also may be there. Whatever it is, cations from the solution starts to migrate towards cathode, cation goes towards cathode, and anion goes towards anode and cathode, right. So, the moment you start giving electrical energy, ions migrate towards their respective electrodes from the solution. So, if anion means negative charge, can anion go to negative electrode? No. So, therefore, anode is positive in this case, and cathode is negative in this case. if they want to migrate towards, if cations want to migrate towards cathode and cathode is positive, cation also positive, can they attract? No, they cannot, because they are not opposite. So therefore, if cations are positively charged ions, cathode should be negative. If anions are negatively charged ions, anode should be positive. This is electrolysis, the process of dissociation of electrolyte into its ions and its migration towards the respective electrodes is called as electrolysis. When will that happen? Upon electrical energy. Whenever electrical energy is passed, electrolyte is dissociated into cation and anion and they migrate towards respective electrodes. This process is called as electrolysis. Electro means electricity, lysis means breaking. When you give electricity, breaking happens in the electrolyte and they goes towards each and every electrode, right? This is electrolysis. Now let us look at some laws of electrolysis, and the first law is, and that law of electrolysis was given by Faraday and he gave two laws. One law is first law of electrolysis, Faraday's law. Faraday's law of electrolysis, in which we will see first law of electrolysis. Now you have seen that after giving current only or after giving electrical energy only, all this happens. If you do not give any electrical energy, they don't dissociate and they don't, hence don't migrate, right? If they don't dissociate, how can they migrate? They remain together in the solution, they cannot migrate. Therefore, how much electrical energy you are giving, that much reaction takes place in the solution, right? So, and that much migration takes place at the electrode, and after migration what happens is anion goes towards anode. I told, like that anode, like electrochemical cell anode, even this anode also undergoes oxidation only. Here which anode went, which anion went? Cl minus anion went, right? Cl minus is the anion, so Cl minus is the anion, anode electrode it goes, and the same reaction of oxidation only, loss of electron, takes place at this anode also. After migrating, chemical reaction takes place. What chemical reaction? Same, anode oxidation, cathode reduction. Oxidation of Cl minus into chlorine gas plus 2 electron. After migrating, what reaction? Reduction. Who undergoes reduction? Sodium plus gains electron to give sodium metal, right? So as chlorine gas product is a gas, it is liberated out. As sodium is a metal, it is deposited around the cathode, right? So these two are the products, right? So you are telling that electrolysis is happening, but how much products you are getting should be quantified, right? So to quantify the product formed after electrolysis, he gave first law of electrolysis, which says whenever electrolysis takes place, the amount of product can be gas, product can be solid metal, or product can be even liquid. The amount of product which can be gas or liquid or a solid metal, gas, the amount of gas liberated or solid deposited or a liquid dissolved, that can be products. The amount of products of gas liberated, solid deposited and solution dissolved is directly proportional to the quantity of electricity you are giving or the quantity of current you are giving, right? So the mass of the product deposited, mass of the product formed after electrolysis is directly proportional to quantity of current. Is it logical enough or not? How much current you give, that much reaction takes place. How much reaction takes place, that much products you will get, right? So therefore this law states the amount of product or the mass of the product is directly proportional to the quantity of current. To remove proportionality constant, what you should do is you will need a constant called as small e or electrochemical equivalent, right? So M is mass of the product. E is electrochemical equivalent. Q is quantity of current. Quantity of current, how can you measure quantity of current? That is, quantity of current can be taken as amount of current and duration of current. How much current you are giving and for what duration you are giving. Amount of current into duration of time. Current should be in amperes only and time should be in seconds only. How much current you are giving and for how much. You may give the current for 10 minutes. Will the reaction give different products? If you give for 1 minute, the products will be different, and if you give for 1 hour, the product will be different. So even time is also important. How much current you are giving, that is also important, and for what time you are giving, even that is also important. So quantity of current includes both the current and its duration, right? So now let us substitute quantity of current in the formula. So you will get the final formula: mass of the product is equal to electrochemical equivalent into current into time. Current should be in amperes and time should be in seconds only. So this is Faraday's first law of electrolysis. Let me remind, electrolysis is also like that cell only in which anode means oxidation, cathode means reduction. But here separate compartments are not there, only one compartment is there in which both the electrodes are dipped. And both the electrodes have same solution which is common. Solutions can be a solution of any salt like NaCl, any acid like HCl, or any base like NaOH, but the condition should be it is able to dissolve ions, it is able to give ions. That solution should be used as electrolyte, right? So when you take that, what happens is the moment you start giving electrical energy or power or current, ions present in the solution become separate. Cations separated, anions separated. All the cations present in the solution starts to run towards cathode, and all the anions present in the solution starts to run towards anode. Cations are positive charge, therefore cathode has to be negative. Anions are negative charge, therefore anode has to be positive. After going towards that electrodes, they will undergo reaction. After going to anode, they should undergo oxidation. After going to cathode, they should undergo reduction. After undergoing oxidation and reduction, oxidation gives different products, reduction gives different products. If it is a gas, it is liberated. If it is a solid, it is deposited around the electrode. If it is a liquid, it again comes back into the solution, but they are products, right? So how much products you are getting in electrolysis, you should be able to measure. To measure that, Faraday gave first law of electrolysis, which says mass of the product is proportional to current. How much current you are giving, that much products you will get. If the current is say 10 amperes for 10 seconds, its mass is equal to the same by having a constant called as electrochemical constant. Okay, this you please copy down this. Let us go to the next topic. That was Faraday's first law of electrolysis, which we have seen when only one electrolytic cell was taken. What happens to the reaction we have seen in first law of electrolysis. But whenever you take an electrolytic cell connected together in series, when you say series, that means one electrolytic cell, beside that another electrolytic cell, beside that another electrolytic cell, two or more electrolytic cells are connected in series. How will they be connected? Anode of this cell is connected to cathode, like that cathode will be connected to anode. That's how series connection is made, right? So when you connect two or more electrolytic cells in series, that means the current is common to all the three, right? Current is common to all the three. Current is common to all the three. Duration of time is also common to all the three, right? So in that case, whenever they are connected in series, what happens to the weight of products at this cell, and this cell? is given by second law of electrolysis. He says that when two or more electrolytic cells are connected in series, current will be common, duration of time will be common for all the three cells. Therefore, the ratio of the mass of the product is equal to the ratio of their equivalent weight. Instead of taking electrochemical equivalent, what you should use here is equivalent weight of that atom. If copper is deposited at this cell, the equivalent weight of copper you have to take. If silver is deposited at this cell, equivalent weight of silver you have to take. If zinc is deposited at this cell, you have to take equivalent weight of zinc, right? So, equal to mass of the product is equal to the ratio of their equivalent weights, right? Therefore, the formula becomes, suppose I am taking only 2 cells in series, minimum 2 is mandatory, it can have even more than that. So, M1 is the product formed at first cell and M2 is the product formed at second cell, is equal to the equivalent weight E1 of the first product and equivalent weight E2 is the second product. So, when 2 electrolytic cells are connected in series, as the current is same, the ratio of the mass of the product is equal to the ratio of the equivalent weight of the product. This is Faraday's second law of electrolysis. We have seen electrolysis and its law. Using any electrolyte, what will be the reactions, we will see in the next class. Okay, thank you.